Let's dive straight into this explainer because today we are unraveling the absolute most chilling cinematic origin story of a combat sports anomaly. Seriously, we're looking at a man who literally crawled out of the deepest, darkest depths of human despair to become the most terrifying force in modern mixed martial arts. I mean, this isn't just your standard sports story. No, this is a real-life anime saga. It's packed with severe addiction, fierce, blood-boiling rivalries, and an unbelievable quest for greatness that just keeps everyone totally guessing what on earth is going to happen next.
Picture this. A kid lost in a Brazilian favela, having completely dropped out of middle school at just 12 years old. He's spending his days working at a local tire shop covered in grease, just trying to survive some truly crushing poverty. But, his environment offered a really dark coping mechanism. Heavily influenced by his older coworkers, he started drinking. And by the time he was only 16 years old, his internal organs were already shattered from severe alcohol abuse. He was seemingly destined to become just another forgotten statistic of the favelas.
And listen, when we talk about alcoholism here, we are talking about a truly staggering volume, 1 full liter, every single day. To put that into perspective, this teenager was consuming 3 massive servings of Brazilian rum, cachaça, before noon, just to be able to function. He'd drink at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and noon, constantly terrified of when his next drink would actually come. His life was just a harrowing daily surrender to severe addiction. It got so bad he even accepted prepaid drinks from his employers instead of actual money.
That brings us to our next section. 2 champions, 1 demon. Because to really understand this level of darkness and the mythical resurrection that followed, we have to look at a parallel titan of combat sports. This brilliantly illustrates the incredible similarities here. On one side, you have Tyson Fury, who ballooned to 400 pounds, battling crippling depression and suicidal thoughts even after reaching the absolute pinnacle of boxing. On the other side, our unnamed Brazilian fighter, completely consumed by the bottle, his body failing, trapped in extreme poverty. 2 massive giants staring into the absolute abyss, fighting the ultimate opponent entirely in their own minds.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how both of these fallen giants use the absolute brutal discipline of fighting to literally pull themselves back from the brink of death. Just like Fury used the boxing gym to shed 140 pounds and conquer Deontay Wilder, our guy, he walked into a kickboxing gym at 21 years old. He didn't even have the money to pay the gym fees, but he knew for a fact if he didn't fight, he would die. Combat sports became his one and only salvation.
And through the guidance of a trainer who instantly recognized his raw, just terrifying potential, he underwent native herbal cleansings to literally repair his damaged organs. He deeply embraced his indigenous Pataxo roots and was reborn. His name is Alex Pereira, and he earned a moniker that strikes fear into anyone who hears it, Poatan, which translates directly to stone hands in the ancient indigenous Tupi language.
So, with a sober mind and a left hook that honestly possessed the destructive force of a nuclear weapon, Alex Pereira absolutely conquered the kickboxing world. He captured 2 division titles in Glory Kickboxing, effectively destroying almost everyone in his path. But the summit was incredibly lonely. With literally no mountains left to climb, he tragically began losing his sense of purpose. Slowly, the shadows crept back in, and he started spiraling right back down toward that green bottle.
Which leads us to awakening the monster. Because during this super dangerous relapse, a single inciting incident occurred, a spark that would inadvertently burn down the entire UFC.
Enter Israel Adesanya, a flashy, anime-loving superstar reigning as the completely untouchable middleweight king of the UFC. Now, Adesanya and Pereira had a history, right? Pereira had beaten him twice in kickboxing, including a really brutal knockout. But now, Adesanya was a massive global icon. And during an interview, he arrogantly dismissed his old rival, saying that while he was a world champion, Pereira would just be some guy in a pub talking about how he beat him one time. It was an interview that unknowingly breathed life back into his absolute greatest nightmare. Those mocking words, they were the catalysts. They forced Pereira to drop the bottle forever.
He felt challenged in a way he hadn't felt in years. He realized he had a choice. Either prove Adesanya right and actually fade into obscurity as an alcoholic at some bar, or become the ultimate anime villain. So he packed his bags for the U.S., teamed up with former champion Glover Teixeira, and set out to brutally hunt Adesanya down inside the MMA cage.
Section 4. The Ultimate Anime Rivalry. Let's look at how this builds into the most terrifyingly fast, single-minded quest for vengeance we have ever seen. Seriously, it's like a horror movie predator slowly but inevitably closing the distance on his prey. Pereira tore through the UFC ranks. Just look at this timeline. He debuts in November 2021. By July 2022, he flatlined Sean Strickland. And by November 2022, literally just 1 year after his debut, he traps Adesanya against the cage in the 5th round and violently snatches the middleweight crown. It's almost unbelievable. Israel Adesanya had literally spoken his own Grim Reaper into existence.
And the wild part? Even after the rivalry saw Adesanya briefly win the belt back, Pereira didn't stop for a second. He just moved up a weight class, knocked out Jiri Prochazka to capture the light heavyweight title, and became a 2-division UFC champion in record time. And how did he celebrate that monumental win? He grabbed the microphone and delivered this chilling, instantly iconic call-out to his old rival. Adesanya, come to daddy.
Moving into our final chapter, Chasing Heavyweight History. Now having violently conquered 2 whole weight classes, Poatan's sights are set on an achievement literally no fighter has ever claimed.
He's going for the legendary Triple Crown. He willingly vacated his light heavyweight belt in April 2026, setting the absolute ultimate stage for his final historic anime arc evolution. He's stepping up to face the giants.
And that brings us right to the near future. Because in just over a month, on June 14, 2026, Pereira is going to step into the octagon against the highly technical former interim champion Ciryl Gane. He'll be fighting for the interim heavyweight championship, attempting to secure an unprecedented 3rd UFC belt. I mean, it literally does not get any bigger than this.
When you step back and look at his trajectory, it is simply mind-blowing. He has captured these titles with a frequency and a devastating efficiency that leaves fans and critics alike in absolute awe. From middleweight to light heavyweight, and now staring down the heavyweight elite, all of this from a man who didn't even fully commit to MMA until just a few years ago.
But, to truly understand Alex Pereira, we have to look outside the cage, too. His most important legacy is actually how he uses his massive platform to ensure hundreds of Brazilian kids don't fall into the exact same traps of poverty and addiction that he did. He founded the Instituto Poatan in his hometown, offering over 700 kids free combat sports, English, and computer classes. It was so impactful, it earned him the 2026 Forrest Griffin Community Award. He's become a true ambassador for his community.
So I leave you with this final thought to chew on. From a 16-year-old kid drinking a liter of liquor every single day in a dirty tire shop, to a kickboxing legend, to a 2-division UFC champion who relentlessly terrorized his greatest rival. If the man with stone hands crushes the heavyweight division next month, does his anime saga end with him standing alone as the greatest combat sports athlete to ever live? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep your eyes on the octagon.